guess what? It's time for whatever. And today's whatever is about No, we're not here to talk about a song. Although, you gotta admit, that's a great song.
Yeah.
The song was originally written by Leonard Cohen, and it's called Everybody Knows. That version was done by Concrete Blonde, and it is off the movie Pump Up the Volume.
Starring Christian Slater.
And you want to talk about an awesome movie. If you have not seen it, go see it.
Yeah.
Now, we're talking about Pump Up the Volume, but we're also more interested in the point.
Mm-hmm.
The truth is a virus. And talk hard.
Mm-hmm.
Pump Up the Volume is the story, what came out in the 80s, and it's the story of a kid, late teenager, who is in high school. His family moved him to another district, far across the country from where he was used to. And he's a loner. He's alone, he feels isolated, and basically he starts his own pirate radio station where he talks, listens to some music, and then tries to encourage people to wake up to a new reality, to accept that things are not right, and get things changed. This is a great concept, but hidden in this is the idea the airways are yours. They're ours. They don't belong to the federal government, because the federal government doesn't own anything. It holds things in trust for us. We are the people. If we do not own things, if the federal government were able to own, then we don't own. It only holds in trust. The overriding topic today is freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. The freedom of speech is a unique right. It's one of the few rights that separates the United States from the whole rest of the world. In the United States, we have the right to criticize and say whatever we want within there's only a very few restrictions on this.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot yell fire in a movie because that would cause a stampede and hurt people. You cannot publish lies about somebody in such a way that to hurt them. Other than this, very few restrictions. Our right to freedom of speech is almost total. I can say you're a scumbag. Especially if I say, in my opinion, you're a scumbag. I can tell you, I think such and such show sucked. That's my opinion. And my opinion is protected by law. You don't have to like my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. You can shut me off. You can switch channels. But my right to say what I feel, in my opinion, is supposed to be absolute. Now we're bringing this up because there have been a lot of attacks on certain people's opinions lately. People are being said, you can't say that because it's a lie. No, it's an opinion. We have the right to say whatever. If we don't exercise that right, we lose that right. And what we see happening on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, is a specific group of people saying, no, you don't have the right to say that. We don't like that. It hurts people's feelings. There's no right to not have your feelings hurt. Can't be. There's no right to not be offended. The very idea of passing this type of right is offensive to me. So that makes that right, logically inconsistent. Here at Whatever, we believe everybody has the right to say whatever. recently there was an attack on Gina Carano by the witch of Star Wars. I won't even use her real name because I don't think she deserves that type of credit. The witch of Star Wars decided she didn't like Gina. Why? Because Gina made a post on Twitter that the witch didn't like. Was there anything wrong with it? No. Was it insulting? It was only insulting if you happen to be one of the people that is trying to get people's neighbors to attack anybody that isn't politically correct. Which of course offended the witch because she constantly tries to attack people that are not PC.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Gina has basically won, and the witch of Star Wars has apparently lost because she's taken a lot of heat from it. Part of the problem here, though, is the way it was done. That the witch of Star Wars didn't win isn't the problem. The problem is the witch of Star Wars even tried. She tried to punish somebody for their beliefs, for their opinions, for having the nerve to say something that, in all honesty, quite a few people agreed with. The witch of Star Wars and the American cancel culture and the new worldwide push for cancel culture tried to cancel Gina for an opinion. Here, whatever, we don't agree with that. That's a violation of our First Amendment rights. Freedom of speech. The right to say Biden sucks.
Mm-hmm.
The right to say Trump sucks. Obama sucks. This president sucks. That president sucks. This congressman, this congresswoman, that all these people are crooks. That is our right in this country. And our rights are protected by law from the government saying, no, you can't do this. Now, this was done backhandedly because the government didn't try to tell Gina she couldn't say it. No, Star Wars tried to tell her. Lucasfilm Limited, as a subsidiary of Disney. Not only did they try to tell her you can't say this, but because you did, you're not going to work here no more. Twitter does the same thing. Facebook and even YouTube have a tendency to pick and choose whose opinions are going to be allowed. This is not freedom of speech. This is censorship. And as long as these companies are protected from being sued for being a platform, they're not supposed to be able to pick and choose. Go back to Pump Up the Volume. The end of Pump Up the Volume, as our hero is being arrested, he tells the people to go out and take control of the airwaves. Now, in some senses, what you see, what he called for is what you see on the modern video platforms. No one told us what we could talk about. No one is sitting here saying, you can't talk about Pump Up the Volume. Why? Because in that part it's free. And that view is what we're celebrating. That view is what Pump Up the Volume was all about. You as a person having an opinion, being able to voice it. Voice your opinion. If it's not politically correct, voice it louder.
Yeah.
Somebody doesn't like something, fine, don't do it. Don't support it. You don't like the opinions on this show, don't support them. You don't think Rush is one of the greatest bands that ever walked the earth, don't buy their music. It's really very simple. Opinions are not forced on you, or shouldn't be. In the same token, The idea that somebody thinks that this last election was stolen, that's their opinion. It's not a lie. That's an opinion. It's their opinion based on the facts as they see it. To say that that is false information or false reporting is basically a way to lie to yourself and everyone else in support of your own political opinion. Cancel culture is a way to censor anybody who disagrees with you and who does not support your own political views. And it's wrong. I don't care if somebody thought Gina's comments was anti-Semitic. In my opinion, they weren't. I think she's a phenomenal actress. She did a great job. I loved her in the different things I've seen her in. And the subject. I would continue to watch The Mandalorian as long as she's in it. Personally, I think the Witch of Star Wars needed to learn a little bit about the people that she's supposedly working for. The media in this country seems to have forgotten who they work for. You do not work for the average American. You work for the people that watch your shows. We call them fans.
Yeah.
If you piss off your fans, your show's ratings suck. If your show's ratings suck, advertisers are not going to put money into it. They're not going to pay to have advertise their product on something that has no viewership.
And eventually that show will get cancelled.
Or eventually it'll have to get canceled because you can't afford to run it.
Yeah.
Now I realize that the Witch of Star Wars doesn't understand this. She thinks it's her job to educate her fans, to teach her fans how they should be. No. Don't work. Number one, she's seen it because how many people bashed her on Facebook?
A lot.
And they're not bashing her personally. They're not saying she's an awful person. They're saying they don't agree. And that her actions are wrong. The problem is that eventually they stop watching. And then she's taken a multi-million-dollar industry and crushed it. Why? Because she didn't have enough sense to keep her personal out of the professional. When I was a kid, that was a common phrase. Keep your personal separated from the professional. Why? Because that's how you run smoothly. I don't agree with something personally, but it's necessary in the course of my business to affiliate with it. Then I do so. If I have enough problems with it personally that I can't affiliate with it professionally, then I don't do that job. Let me give you an example. If you are opposed to the drinking of alcohol, don't work at a bar. Won't work well for you. Eventually, your personal beliefs are going to get in the way of your professional. The answer to this is just don't put yourself in that position. Now, the Witch of Star Wars has a problem with a lot of things. She has a problem with white males. She has a problem with males in general, whites in general. She's got some issues. She wants to promote diversity. Okay, I got no problem with diversity. Do I have a problem with there being a number of different races depicted in a show? No. Do you have a problem with the different viewpoints or sexual orientations depicted in a show? No. Do I think they are required for the show? No. Depends. I mean, if the show is all about, living the life as a lesbian couple, yeah, those lifestyles are necessary. If the show is about fighting your way out from underneath the Empire, how is it necessary?
It's not.
I mean, I don't remember that the Empire had a law against homosexuality. I don't think it ever came up. I don't know. We'd have to ask George. Hey, George, was the Emperor against homosexuality? He may have been. You never know with Palpatine. But in reality, I think Palpatine wouldn't really give a damn.
As long as you follow what he says, you're good. Otherwise...
But you're going to take something that people have loved and enjoyed for decades or years and change it because your own political views, your own personal views say, well, we need to have something like this in it, is insane. Number one, everybody who's enjoyed that show up until then isn't going to like what you just did. Now there's talk that they are looking at on the new Lord of the Rings that is going to be coming out. It's supposed to be a prequel. It's supposed to be a pre-prequel to The Hobbit. It's going to be the time of the Battle of the Rings. It's going way back in time, several thousand years before the Lord of the Rings. The idea behind this is kind of interesting. The execution has a lot of people worried. There is talk about making a female Gandalf. You cannot change a character to that basis. Number one, why would you want to? Well, we need more diversity. Excuse me, one of the most powerful wizards in the time was the female elf.
Yeah.
Put a character in. There's nothing that says you can't.
Nope, and we don't really know what that period...
We have no idea what happened. We are pretty sure, though, that Gandalf wasn't even there.
Nope. There was the elf, the old elf guy that got burned his face. The other elf head. Pretty much the three elf people.
We're looking at a time frame that was several thousand years. Was Gandalf present? Maybe. But if you're going to talk about the rise of Sargon. Either way, if you're going to talk about his rise to power and the making of the rings, you're going back to a time frame that I believe is prior to Gandalf. So putting Gandalf in as a woman makes no sense.
And it kind of also ruins canon.
You're getting into dangerous areas. Dangerous not because you're pushing the boundaries of what is right and wrong, but because you're destroying what people love. I'm all for pushing boundaries. Write a story that pushes it. Create a movie that pushes the boundaries. All for this. Writing a story that takes and changes a beloved character just to push your own political beliefs, I don't support.
Neither do I.
I believe we do need more. There should be more diversity in our culture. I got no problem with that. Write the stories. Create instead of destroy. You do not have to promote diversity by the destruction of what other people love. And people don't love Gandalf because he's a white wizard. By white, I mean his physical complexion. We like Gandalf because Gandalf stood up.
Yeah.
Gandalf fought. To change him into something else is a destruction of who he is. And a destruction of what people love. And that's what I see a lot of. A goal is instead of, if your goal is diversity, this is not how you achieve it. You don't diversify by destroying. You diversify by adding new, creating. You want more women superheroes? Write the comic. Give them to us. Number one, comic fans would be happier.
They get more things to
Got
read.
more things to read. Want more blacks? Want more minorities? Write us the story.
Yeah.
There's no reason we can't have more superheroes. There is no rule out there that says there shall only be 100 superheroes. Write the stories. Create. Add to. Bring out new. This is how you do diversity correctly. Because then people do not have to feel like you're insulting them. That they have to pay for your diversity. Diversity should not be at the expense of someone else.
Nope.
I do not believe and will not support the idea of changing a character just to appease a certain minority group. And I don't care what group that is. I mean, would you feel right if we changed Wonder Woman into a guy? Wonder Dude? No, you'd be upset. Furthermore, Wonder Woman is tied to the Greek and Roman mythology. You're going to change the mythos just to appease somebody? That don't make sense. What, you don't think they have mythos? There's no mythology that comes from Africa? Then you need to get up off your lazy butts and go look it up.
There are actually quite a bit.
There are more mythologies out there than just the Greek and the Norse. The Egyptians. Basically every culture in the world has got a mythology that came up with it.
Yeah.
Spend a little time and go look it up. Give us new superheroes. Give us new mythology. Give us new stories. I'm sorry, Hollywood. You guys are lazy as shit.
Just remaking the same movie over and over again?
Be creative. Write something new. Give us new things to enjoy. Because everybody knows the war is over. The good guys lost. And you're going out of your way to prove it. You're just making more people to lose. You're not expanding, you're contracting. And that is never a good recipe for us. For success. It seems that if you want to know how good of this is for a financial plan, all you got to do is look at the results. Star Wars, after The Witch took over and Lucasfilm was taken over by Disney, started going downhill. Marvel started going downhill. Doctor Who, downhill. All of these shows, the minute it got woke, started to go broke. Why? Because you take away instead of add. Oh well, this has been whatever on our tribute to Pump Up the Volume in an effort to promote free speech. Because everybody knows time is running short. Let's try to add to instead of take away from what's out there. I'm Dragon Pat.
I'm Alex Drake.
And this has been Whatever.